To rent, not to rent, I don't have a choice, but to rent. Let's talk about it. Welcome back to my channel. My name is Reese. In today's video, we are talking about if rent money is dead money. Renting. I would assume most people are pretty familiar with it. It's when you pay someone, generally a landlord, to occupy their home for a period of time. You pay them weekly or fortnightly or even monthly in installments over the course of a year or a 2-year contract, where they collect that money, reduce their loan as time goes on, and you basically get nothing for it other than a home to live in. Renting has been a major argument point for a very long period of time as to whether you should or shouldn't be doing it. If you don't have the option for home reasons, I'm ignoring that concept in today's video because this is more of a discussion around you having the option to, as to what the pros and cons are of actually doing it, and just to put some thoughts into your mind about if it's for you, if it would be beneficial to you based on what you want to do with your life. So firstly, I wanted to talk about the disadvantages of renting. Most of them are pretty obvious, but hopefully I bring up some that you're not quite familiar with and they give some insight into things that you hadn't considered about renting. The overarching one is that you don't get anything. Renting is essentially you giving your money away for nothing that's tangible. No asset, no security, it's just a roof over your head, but it's not yours. You get to live under someone else's roof, which comes into a no guarantee of living there. A landlord realistically at any time can break a contract through certain channels. It may not be common, but it can be done, effectively making you out on the street looking for another house to move into with very short notice. This can come in the form of the owner selling the property, wanting to move into the property themselves, or for lack of a better word, based on your character, evicting you. This can be very stressful, and not having that security of it being your home, the house that you're living under, it's something that definitely will sit at the back of your mind whilst you're going through that period. One of the things that really sucks is that you're paying someone else's mortgage. As I mentioned earlier, you are effectively giving them money to get ahead. With the added cost of rent each week adding to your bills piles, it's going to make it difficult to save money. Money is such a struggle these days. Wealth is something that people really want to build, but renting kind of slows that process, or it does slow that process, because rent is generally a significant portion of your wage that goes into that bill pile. And one of the biggest inconveniences is having to answer to your landlord. Your landlord can schedule inspections, can do houseworks if necessary to fix things which can be an impedance on your life. It may better your life, but it's also, again, you're not in control of this, they are. It is their property ultimately, and you are the one who is paying them to live there. So with the obvious things covered, I'm actually going to talk about some of the pros to renting as well, because this channel isn't just about bashing people who waste their money. It's here to give you insight on how you can better your wealth, better your financial position, and actually get yourself out of a struggling or worried environment into something where you feel comfortable and are able to make steps towards being in a better financial position. Renting, if you have the option to do it, is definitely something to consider, especially when you're younger or if you need to be flexible. Some of the examples include not being tied down. Signing a 1-year lease means that you can move to different suburbs and try out different areas and enjoy different homes where you may find that it works for you. Some people I know have no interest in buying a house. They want to rent for the experience of being able to live somewhere and try somewhere else every year or every couple of years or so to keep it fresh. And there's nothing wrong with that. Buying a house generally puts you in a 30-year contract, assuming that you're not going to sell it anytime soon. Meaning you can lose a lot of money if you don't want to be there for that 30-year period, or you don't plan on having it for long periods of time. The fees and bills and taxes that come with selling a house shortly after purchase is quite high. It's not a super profitable thing to do unless you really know what you're doing. And renting in this instance, it doesn't put you in that position where you can actually get caught out and lose a lot of money. When going to buy a house, banks do look at things like your ability to save or commit to something, and renting is a very good example of committing to something. If you sign a year contract and you pay every week, every fortnight on time to your landlord, they're going to see that those records of you making those payments. So it can build rapport in those instances where you need to have a good background check essentially. If you're trying to get out of the house with the parents, it can offer some freedom and privacy. where you have a place of your own, a place that you can do what you need to do. It's probably one of the most appealing things to younger people, and it is absolutely an acceptable reason to be renting. What comes from that is experience. You get a life experience of looking after yourself for a short period of time to see if you really are ready to take this leap and get out there. I have a bunch of friends who have gone through this process and they love the experience and they gained valuable experience from doing it. This could also come in the form of living with other people, a partner, friends, and actually getting that type of experience too, where you may not be by yourself, but with people that you actually want to live with. The thing I want to emphasize here is that if you plan to own your own home, renting is going to be a deterrent to that. It is going to take a significant chunk of your savings away each year, as it is an upfront bill. Rent is a relatively high expense, which will, over the course of time, add up, and it will increase the time that it takes to get yourself that deposit, or even just in a position where you can even consider buying a home. However, if you are keen on gaining that experience, it is definitely something to consider when considering if you should rent early days when you're not actually intending to buy anytime soon. One of the biggest positives, if you intend to never buy but actually rent for a long period of time, is being able to invest your money. Investing is one of the most popular ways to gain wealth, and it is something that absolutely will work if you have a long period of time to invest and are not day trading and spending money on gambles, essentially. If you're going to rent and you utilize the money that you save by not paying down a mortgage, you're definitely going to still put yourself in a better position than if you were just paying rent and not using that money. I will cover investing in future videos, but for now we're talking about renting. Overall, it is something to think about. It is something that you should definitely consider all of your options before just deciding to move out and move in with friends. You should definitely be thinking about all of the positives and negatives that are going to come out of renting. Make sure that if you're going to do it, that it is the right decision for you, because it has the potential to set you back. This video was always going to be a short one, but it's an important topic to talk about. I hope you enjoyed today's video. If you did, please consider giving it a like and subscribing, and I will see you in the next one.